lawful wedded husband.
To be my...
Barbertine. Not Barbertine's heart. With a tramp like you?
Well, I know it hurts being third rate, but aren't you accustomed to it yet?
Oh, Robin, I see you.
I myself the slut of Springfield!
Son of a bitch in heat. I found out myself what love is all about.
Hey everybody, it's me, Nikki.
Hey everybody, welcome to Ranting with Ricardo. Okay, we're here to talk about them soaps, and I'm a little fired up today, so bear with me. I'm going from Friday's episode to today's episode, and then I'm gonna end up going back and cutting this up to give y'all a smaller pieces of this. But before we get into them soaps, remember to hit the subscription button and hit the notification bell so you can always be updated and kept in the loop about everything going on over here. And also check the description box down below because there's some great information down there for you. So let's get into it. So talking about Friday's episode now, Gio then came by the gallery. He about to play for Ava because he trying to get him a little job. Every little job counts. All little money count. Okay, he about to be in college soon. And while Sonny, because he lets Ava know that Sonny is paying for college. Well, no, Sonny has helped pay for everything in his life, and he would have paid for college had Gio not gotten a scholarship. Baby, a college student, we broke and needy. Well, I was once a college student, and we're broke and needy. Okay, baby, I need money. Let me get this job. Let me do this little side hustle. Whatever I can do to get some practice in to show off my talents and make me some money is what Gio is going to do. So he plays for her. Trina is there because Trina suggested him to Ava. He's playing. He getting girls in their feels. Trina is in her feels. It's like taking her back for a moment to where her and Spencer was in Paris and the lighting was amazing. Which I think they won an Emmy off of that. And it was given all the feels. And Ava said, you know what? You hired. Now, before we get back into Gio and that whole thing and what it leads to for Trina and Jocelyn, Christina went down to Alexis's office and is asking about what are her rights as it pertains to this baby, because she needs to find out, because she never expected Molly and TJ to break up and she doesn't understand what's going to happen. And Alexis is like, please don't make me choose between my daughters, please. And it's just like, at the end of the day, y'all all knew this was going to be a problem and you shouldn't have went down this route anyway. But, and I'm going to keep saying this until it happens, y'all need to come hire me for General Hospital, because we're going to remember history if I'm on like the staff. We're going to remember history and we're going to bring some people back to help this situation just get even more messier. Just like I said, we need to bring Rick back because Rick needs to be defending somebody down to the court when this custody battle eventually happens. At the end of the day, Alexis knew it was going to be a problem when they came up with this half-brain scheme to have Christina not only be the egg donor but the surrogate, a surrogacy contract. It's not going. It's worth a hill of beans. That's what it is. And TJ does have rights as the father, but Christina holds all the cards until adoption happens as the mother. And this baby is not actually TJ and Molly's. It's TJ and Christina's. At the end of the day, if TJ and Molly do break up, Christina's asking the right questions. What rights do I have and what is going to happen? Because why would I give my sister and her ex a baby to raise when they're not together anymore? That makes absolutely positively no sense. On top of that, they were never planning to have Christina around that kid anyway. This is Aunt Christina. While she did give birth to you and, biologically you are her child, we don't talk about her because TJ don't like Christina. And I'm confused on he really don't like her. Like, you could be like, I can get down with the way you operate on things, but he has like surefire hate for her. And it's like, after all the stuff that your family did, your mama, your uncles, both your pappies, I guess it's the route you want to go down, Miss Girl. Okay. Alexis ends up giving Christina all this information about what's going on and just begs her, please don't make me choose between my kids. And, Chase and Liz meet up and they talk about the fact that Finn is an alcoholic. He's a drunkard. Okay. He was stumbling out of bars, crawling over top cars because he's a sucker for you. And, talked about Finn in that bar the husband named Barb from the bar that he was about to get busy with until Elizabeth caught him. And it's just like, this is a mess. This is a mess. This is a mess. Drew is running for Congress. He tells the congressman is like, listen, you need to change your last name. While the name Kane is great, Quartermain is going to do a whole lot more. And, Nina decides to pop her happy-go-lucky self down there and yell, I need your help. And eventually Drew does help her, and Drew is like, listen, Willow is having a birthday party. I can see if I could get you into the birthday party, but you got to be cool. Be cool, baby, damn. Okay? Basically, like that. And I feel like the congressman is trying to push Drew and Nina together. And I'm sorry, Mr. Congressman, but I've seen you before on other shows, and I ain't got no beef with you. But I don't want to see 2 raw chicken cutlets going at it again on my screen. No. I don't want to see it. It upsets me and my homegirls. If you was going to have sex in that office, then go have sex in private. I'm just saying. Now, Finn and broke a promise to Violet because he decided to get drunk in the middle of the day, take a nap, and forget all about the fact that Violet wanted to go to the pool and asked him to go to the pool. She even made him food, and he ate the food and was like, oh, we'll go to the pool after my nap. She wake him up from the nap. He's still a little bit drunk. He don't remember ever saying, oh, yeah, I'm going to take her to the pool. And at this point, it's at nighttime. And it's just like he's getting more and more dangerous as the days go on. Because if you can't remember a promise to her and breaking that promise, what happens if you decide to get drunk down to the pool and the lifeguard can't get to her fast enough? I'm not saying Jocelyn won't get to her fast enough, but what happens if you can't get to her fast enough? You gonna feel away. But he's refusing all help. He don't want Liz's help because Liz ends up popping up on him, and it's like, the boys, Miss Violet, they want her to come over. Maybe she could come over. I could take her to the pool. He tells her, no, ain't nobody taking my kid nowhere. Maybe she could go to the Quartermains for the summer. No one's taking my kid nowhere, and throws Liz up out of his apartment. Violet sees her auntie and everything, and they spend a little time together. But at the end of the day, he's so adamant on holding on to Violet and that he's not an alcoholic, that he's going to be the detriment to that little girl. And I feel bad because at the end of the day, she's 9 years old. Her learning that her father is an alcoholic right now is not something that she should have to go through at 9 years old. Typically, and soaps most of the time relate to real life. Typically, you do have children who find out that their parents are alcoholics because they're living in a house with them, because either one or both of the parents taking care of the children have drinking problems, or one might have a drinking problem but nobody wants to leave until it's too late, until the child is already scarred. Can we stop doing that? Can we please? Like, there are ways to talk to your children about addiction, but making them live through all of this is trauma inducing. Let's stop this, okay? Let's stop it. But he say no. His daughter is not going nowhere. Chase comes to talk to Alexis, and Alexis is like, listen, he been drinking since the wedding, which is news to Chase. He's been drinking since the wedding. He has not been to AA. She couldn't really tell him he hadn't been to AA meetings, but she shook her head like, yeah, I haven't seen you there. I haven't seen Brooklyn there. I haven't seen Violet there. I haven't seen Liz there. Have you seen my brother there? She didn't say nothing, but that's all the confirmation he needed. And he wants Alexis to help them get Violet up out of that situation. If nothing else, get Finn into rehab, get Violet up out of there. Because once again, the man's an alcoholic. It does not matter. I'm sorry that I'm yelling. But it does not matter that you were addicted to drugs and you're like, well, I was a drug addict. I'm not an alcoholic. Addiction is a slippery slope. You could be both. You could be a drug addict and an alcoholic. And now you're teetering on being an alcoholic. Go to rehab, try out, do your 90 days, get some therapy, and work on the guilt that you were holding inside of you when it comes to Gregory, because this is too much. Boom. So we get back to Gio, Trina, and Jocelyn. So Jocelyn comes to get Trina because they want to go look at her apartments before the apartments get snatched up. All the good ones do. And while they're there, they're all three talking, and eventually the apartment does get snatched up. So Gio is like, "Listen, I have a suggestion. I know a great apartment that y'all come look at. Is a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. It's got a kitchen, a little living room area, and it's close to where y'all need to be at, like school and work and stuff like that. Where's this apartment, Gio? Oh, it's over the Quartermain garage." And I said, "Oh my God. Oh my God. Do you know how many days I've prayed for the Quartermains to come back full force? That we would have people down on the Quartermain property? This hasn't happened in years. When I say years, this hasn't happened in years. Monica has slipped into the Lila role. Y'all know Lila was all about having all the people down to the property. Lois and Brenda, y'all want to start record label and use the gatehouse? You could do that. We got a butler, okay. We want people all up and through the house. Yes, I miss this. Okay, they got people in the people in the gatehouse. The boathouse gets regularly. I can't even speak right now. Used. Sasha's living there because she's the chef. Cody has the stable apartments because he's running the stables, and we don't have a full house, but the house, because there are many wings to the Quartermain mansion. Okay, but there's a lot of people up in that house. I was like, "Oh my God, they back!" And now we got a garage apartment, and the apartment was nice. And Gio was like, "Listen, Ned wanted me to take the apartment over the garage so I could have privacy, but Aunt Olivia and Aunt Lois said, hell to the no, no, no." Okay, first of all, you probably wouldn't eat if you lived out there. Secondly, you need to be with family. And thirdly, we need to keep an eye on you because you are a prodigy. Okay, we trying to make sure you don't get nobody pregnant or fall prey to these hussies out here. So Gio's living in the house. Gio offers to show them the apartment. It's a nice apartment. Trina's worried about taking it, but they legit they wouldn't have to pay that much in rent because Michael and Jocelyn are brother and sister. Michael could convince Monica to rent it to them at a low, low price of possibly free. Sasha's always cooking, so there's a way to get food. They can use all the amenities of the Quartermain mansion because Monica's not going to keep them away. And personally, I want to know who's going to get the mansion when Monica, in the future, if Monica passes away, who gets the mansion? Like, is she going to leave the mansion to Jason? Is she going to leave the mansion to Drew? Is she going to leave the mansion to um Michael? Or is it going to be a situation of Michael, Drew, and Jason all get a third of the house? That would be messy, okay? But honestly, I want them to have a situation where whoever gets the house gets to use "it's my house, Monica gave it to me." She could give it to Olivia. Oh my God, I would love that. It's my house. Monica gave it to me. I would love that. I truly, truly would love that. Because Olivia also fits the role of the matriarch of the family, like Lila did back in the day. But okay, so now we got more of a Quartermain set. We have more sets going on. And I was like, can I put a bid for anyone on General Hospital who works in production? Personally, I would like to see Susan Moore, which is Jason's biological mother. I want to see her cottage come back. I know after she lived there, then Scott and Heather kind of took it over, but I think if I remember correctly, they lost it because they didn't actually get access to Jason's trust fund like they wanted to. And then Bobby and DL moved into there, and then they ended up moving out into like the penthouse in the Sky Eye. So the cottage has been abandoned at this point. And I feel like because you could see the cottage from the Quartermain living room, this would be a great time to bring back the cottage and maybe either give this as a gift to Brooklyn and Chase, or give it a gift to Elizabeth. And Elizabeth now finally has she now finally has like the cottage in the woods she always wanted to paint and all that stuff. But I'm thinking more like Brooklyn and Chase have the cottage and they can make a home and possibly, raise Violet there if they have to take her in. And then can we please bring back, like with the brownstone, the more co-op living? That's all I'm asking. So after multiple conversations and a back and forth, Jocelyn and Trina are really thinking about taking the apartment. Nina wants to know if she gets invited to the party, should she get Willow a present, especially because they've made such progress and she's respecting boundaries. And I'm like, what boundaries are you respecting? The only thing you did was back off in private, but you've been using you and Drew rolling around like two chicken cutlets on the floor of your office and anywhere y'all can get in where you fit in to get him to manipulate Willow into allowing you around. But hey, if you like it, I love it. So we move on to Monday's episode. It's birthday party time. It's birthday party time. Okay. Liz forgot about the birthday party and she's upset, so she gotta talk to Portia, and she's gotta talk to Portia as the boss. Portia let her know that Finn decided to cut his bereavement in short and he's decided he won't come back to work. Oh, baby, that's a problem. Why? Because he's drinking. So Liz says, you know what? I got to say something. And normally I don't go up for the snitching. Okay. But in this moment, it had to be done. Why? Because he is an alcoholic. He might get drunk while at work and put somebody in danger, and then the hospital is liable. We don't need these type of problems. Y'all really do need to bring back General Hospital night shift. I said this on Kyrese's channel. I was like, bring back night shift and have it as a YouTube series. That way we get to see what's going on down to the hospital like we did back in like 06 to 08 or like 07 to 08. I loved it. It was a good time. Epiphany was dating Billy D. Williams at the time. I'm just saying it was a good time. And we got to see Robin and her relationship with Patrick and how that kicked off and eventually her getting pregnant and all that stuff. Anyway, Liz tells Portia, listen, he been drinking. Me and him broke up. I caught him, like Jake caught him coming out of a bar. And when I popped up over there, he had a woman on the couch. And even though they didn't get to what they was going to get to, it was very much they was about to do it on the couch. Okay. For the whole world to see. And I'm worried about him putting the safety of the patients in danger. And I'm worried about my niece. And we have a wellness policy here that he could take advantage of and go to rehab. And Portia thanks her for telling her because, like, listen, as co-chief of staff, she needed to know these things. So, boom, there's that. Drew announces at the party that he's running for Congress. Everybody's going up for it. Curtis is just so happy for him. But he also appreciates when he talks to Portia the fact that, listen, he got used to being his own boss, being a PI, owning a nightclub. Now that Drew's not going to be over his shoulder when it comes to this whole wellness program launch, he can do what he wants and make it what he believes is successful. So he's going up for it. Gio is giving Jocelyn the eyes, and I'm like, please focus on playing your music. Stop giving this girl the eyes. She not wanting you. She want Dax. Drew manages to manipulate Willow into allowing Nina to come to the party, and Willow falls for it every single time, and she's going to fall for the manipulation up to the point that she ends up in his bed. That's where I see this going, and then it's going to be a mother-daughter showdown over Drew. Carly is asking Michael about how he feels about Nina being at the party, and he's like, listen, I tried to control Willow once. It did not work out, so whatever she want to do, I'm supporting her. And when Carly asked Drew what's going on with him and Nina, he was like, oh, I'm not cool with her like that. She helped me with the congressman. And Carly was like, so she helped you do that. What did she ask for as payment? Because she don't do nothing for free. And he was like, oh, she do nothing. But in that same sentence, basically told Carly everything she needed to know, because you mentioned Willow. That's the payment. I help you do this. You help me get Willow. And I might throw a little coochie at you every now and then when I'm feeling all hot and bothered and want you to break my back like a glow stick. That's what is happening. They get on my goddamn nerves. Cody and Sasha then talked about him wanting to possibly tell Mac that he's his daddy and he's feeling a type of way because he wants a relationship, but now he's going back and forth because I'm like, please just tell this man that he is your father. And I made a mistake. I was like, oh, he's Catherine's son. No, Catherine is his aunt. And he really does act like Catherine in a way with her scheming and her plotting and everything. But Dominique is his mother. And all I'm saying is, if Dominique is your mother, Scott, you need to tell Serena when this comes out that she has a big brother so they can meet and they could commiserate over both of their fathers. Okay? Anyway, or their mama, whichever one works out for you. Whichever one works out for you. For you. So most of this episode truly was we find out because Gio always mentions aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa, stuff like that. Gio's father passed away before he was ever born, and Gio's mother was a violinist who played for the New York Philharmonic. She passed away when he was 10 years old. So the family came together as a collective to raise him. So we got more of his backstory. And I wonder if his father passed away before he was ever born. Could it be a possibility? Because I'm going to be honest, his hair is giving Jason AJ back in the 90s. Y'all know that haircut I'm talking about. Could it be possible that... But then again, in 2000s, I mean, it could work with the way they retconned the ages because Jocelyn allegedly is able to drink. So the way they retcon the ages and everything, is it possible that AJ or Jason could be Gio's father? I'm hoping more AJ, and maybe this could possibly keep... never mind. Anyway. Most of the episode on Monday was really Alexis eating Finn the fuck up. She gave him a 2-piece and a biscuit and two sides and a cookie. Okay, with a drink. Okay, it was a nice old combo. So she came by and she was like, "How you doing? You know, I see you drinking. At least you're not gonna lie to me about that, because you definitely didn't drink half of this goddamn bottle. So what's going on with you? Ain't seen your meetings, ain't heard nothing from you, you ain't said nothing to me. What is happening? Okay, what is happening?" So he gets to talking like, oh, she was like, listen, before we get into this whole conversation, is Violet here? Yes. Can I go see? Why? I just want to make sure she's asleep so she don't hear this conversation that we about to have. So they get to talking. And Alexis said, Alexis is like, listen, I justified my drinking and I made a lot of excuses for myself when I was drinking as well. And so were you. Finn's justifying his drinking by saying he's grieving over his father. And really that guilt is eating him up because he never truly forged a relationship with Gregory until it was too late. On top of the fact that you slept with Gregory's wife and there was a possibility that Chase wasn't your brother but your son. So you know all of that. So he's just saying all these things. He not really, he not really listening to Alexis. And when Alexis grabs her bag to leave, she tells Finn that he's the only one who can make the decision to help himself. So when you decide to help yourself, God, let's hope you don't hit rock bottom and it be the end of you and your relationship with Violet and anybody else that we know it. Because Finn is a mean drunk. He's just mean. And he digs to say these nasty little things to people. And he's like, he don't want to change. He's okay with how he is. And she says, listen, when I was free falling into a bottle, I didn't have a 9-year-old to worry about. So basically, she let him be known, listen, when I was on my spiral into being an alcoholic, at least my children were legal. Their pain may have not been the pain may have not been different for them than it will be for Violet, but at least they were adults and knew how to handle this situation, unlike a 9-year-old child who, once she figures out her father is an alcoholic, is going to try to make excuses for him and try to be the parent, thus ending her childhood to protect you, which is some BS. And he's like, so you're calling me a bad father? She said, I'm not saying that. I'm not calling you a bad father. And he started going off on her. And she's like, listen, you worried about Violet, but she didn't been listening to this conversation the entire time. She's right behind you. So he turns around, Violet not there. She was like, made you look. Okay, that was this, like, she was getting him together. Like, he was taking digs at her, but she was coming back and hitting him full force with it. Because at the end of the day, you have a 9-year-old minor living with you, and you are her father. And instead of doing what should be the best thing for her and sending her off to be with her aunt and uncle or her aunt and her cousins, you have decided to keep her trapped in this apartment with you because you feel guilty about the lackluster relationship you had with your father. That could have been fixed years ago, but you were a drug addict in your own way. So now here we are, the man that passed away, and instead of dealing with it, as in getting psychological help and not turning to depressants or things that is going to numb you, you've decided to do I'm just gonna numb myself to the situation. I'm not gonna work through it. I'm just gonna numb myself and everything's gonna be okay. And it's not. Drew is becoming a quartermain. I told y'all about that. Told y'all about that one. Alexis hits him with, like, listen, somebody said finish him in the Mortal Kombat voice. Somebody said that, and Alexis hit him with this last thing before she got up out of there. She says Violet used to live with a loving father. Now she's been abandoned and she's trapped with a drunk. And I said, damn, Alexis. You didn't have to eat him up that bad. He needed it, but you didn't have to eat him up that bad. And he ends the damn episode pouring himself another drink. And I said, well, obviously what she said to you didn't work. Because you up here drinking again. So we move on to today's episode. And we can really go at it like, and Cody is like talking down at the boathouse, and Sasha's really trying to convince him to tell Mac that Cody is his father. And Cody's worried about it because he's like, if I say something, they're going to be mad at me because I lied to keep myself out of prison. And I don't want to ruin their relationships, and I don't want to ruin their family. I don't want to come in between anyone. But Sasha's like, listen, I've always seen your smile, and I loved it. But once you take a breather, you can see you're lonely and sad behind your eyes. And we need to tell that man that he's your father. Because once again, Cody has said down to the party that he didn't know how much time Mac had left on this earth. And I'm just like, don't wait till it's too late and decide not to know your father. Okay, you have a whole family. You got an uncle named Robert, a daddy named Mac, you got a sister named Serena. Okay. You got stepsisters, there's Georgie, but Georgie passed away, but she may come visit you. Afterlife Georgie may come visit you if she needs to regulate some things. You got Maxie, you got a cousin named Robin who Mac raised like a daughter. You got Robin's children, you got Maxie's children. Like, you have family. It's time for you to tell the truth. So they talking and they flirting and they trying to, get busy down to the boathouse. But unfortunately, it's not an option because Geoden came down to the boathouse to practice as to not disturb the rest of the people living on the Quartermain property. So they don't end up getting busy. They on a beach chair and they're just laying there. It's like, oh, this is so romantic. And they end up falling asleep to Geo practicing. And I was like, that is so much better than trying to get your walls knocked down in a dirty ass boathouse. So much better. Be romantic about it. Lucy didn't have to eat Scott up. So Lucy and Scott are down to Bobby's and they're talking about the fact that Natalia is a control freak and nothing's ever good for her, and how once they give her everything she wants in a contract and is sent to her, she says not good enough and decides to redo the entire thing. So Lucy is pissed off about that. She's also pissed off about Scott billing her all these hours and possibly trying to write off some coffee and pie on her dime. So then we get into the whole Heather of the situation, and this is where Lucy had to eat him the up because he tried to compare Lucy and Heather, and it's just like, no, we're not about to do this. And Lucy dropped some history. She was like, before that hip replacement, Heather was crazy and was out here unaliving people. We're not going to, and I don't know how many times I have to run down this history for people, but it's obvious that I'm going to have to do a live one of these days, or I'm really going to have to get me like a whole show to talk about this, because we're not going to act like Heather didn't end up sending herself on an LSD trip because little Stephen Lars was playing with the lazy Susan when she tried to send Diane, whatever that lady name is, Diana on an LSD trip. We're not going to forget about that one. We're not going to forget about the fact that she tried multiple times to unalive that lady. Stop trying to redeem Heather. Heather has been no good. We're not going to forget the fact that her and Scott got married back in the day in order to take custody of little Jason after Susan was unalived by Crane Tolliver to steal his trust fund. We're not going to forget all of these things. Heather has been a menace to society and is going to continue to be a menace to society. Stop. And when I say this, not in the name of love, stop trying to redeem her. Stop it. Heather has been and always will be a crazy lady. Like, we're not gonna forget that she faked the unaliving of herself to get Jeff's attention. We're not gonna forget that. We're not gonna forget that when Jeff wouldn't leave who he was with, she decided she didn't want the baby, so she faked. Like, she, sent that baby to the children's chop shop. She didn't do that at Jeff's request. She sold her baby to Diana and Peter. We're not going to forget that. Stop rewriting history. She didn't have cobalt poisoning when she sold off Stephen Lars. She didn't have cobalt poisoning when she terrorized Jeff. She didn't have cobalt poisoning when she tried to unalive Diana and sent herself on an LSD trip. Didn't have cobalt poisoning when she Dr. Katz, Susan, the stealing of Jason's trust fund, the taking Jason and Drew and splitting them up and giving Franco to Betsy Frank and then giving Drew to Betsy Frank only for Drew to get put out the house because Franco didn't push that. Like, we're not gonna forget about these things. She didn't have cobalt poisoning then. Stop trying to rewrite history because it does not work in this situation. Heather is crazy. She been crazy. Heather owned that. She did multiple stints at Ferncliff to let y'all know that, listen, I'm now in Pentonville and I'm right where I need to be. Or wherever the hell they sent her. She says she right where she need to be. I believe her. Gonna sit up here and act like that crazy lady and say she was crazy. Gonna sit up here and act like that crazy lady ain't said she was crazy. She been crazy. She forever gonna be crazy. And that's how we gonna get okay. And then the thing that pisses me off about Laura and Scott, y'all were in town for the LSD trip she went on. Y'all were in town in the 70s and the 80s when she was messing around and doing all that stuff. So explain to me how y'all think she is such a good person when, once again, terrorized Jeff, terrorized Susan, terrorized Diana, terrorized Dr. Katz, unalived or tried to unalive most of these people I just named off, sold her baby, lied about an abortion, sending that child to the children's chop shop, and a slew of other things. Like, did we forget that she planned on marrying Edward? Rest in peace, Edward. You were missed. You was a real one, okay? You kept it real. Even though I believe he was probably a Republican. At least you owned who you were and your scheming. She planned to marry Edward to unalive him. And then she messed around with you know what? I'm done. I can't. At the end of the day, Scott is doing this for a money grab. Scott wants to work with Heather in order for her to sue the company that gave her the hip replacement because they would be liable. And Lucy asked him, what about the families of the people that she did this to? What about the victims? Well, they would be liable too. Money is not going to bring these people back. It's not going to help bring these people back. It's not going to take away that hurt. It's not going to take away that pain. So this ain't going to work. We're telling you now, it's not going to work. And then he tried to compare Lucy and Heather together, and Lucy said, I was a schemer. I wasn't a murderer. Okay, I schemed. And most of the time, the people who passed away, they did that on their own because Victor Jerome swallowed my locket. Didn't nobody tell him to swallow that locket. He did it on his own. So you can't blame me for this one. I may have schemed. I may have plotted. Some people may have ended up unalived around me, but I didn't do it. I ain't do it. So boom, we move on. Okay. Fake Jagger then came down to Anna and Valentine was on the couch. She brought her champagne to apologize for breaking their dinner date, and they end up flirting hard, and he's apologizing. He's like, I'm gonna get better at managing things, and they end up having a little makeout session on the couch, and he tells her, listen, we're gonna have dinner tomorrow in that house. Well, what if I don't want to go? You're going. So it's just like, Anna, if you let this man play you, you won't be everything but a child of God over here on this channel. Anyway, Fake Jagger came down to the coffee warehouse to tell Jason that he knows who the head of Pikeman is. He still believes it's Anna, and I said, you got to be the dumbest motherfucker on the face of the planet. And he says, oh, I let these relationships that we had cloud my judgment. And it's just like, you never actually had a relationship with Anna, unless you're talking about, no, because y'all never had any interaction on night shift. Oh, I let my sister's, I let Robin's connection to my brother, pull the wool over my eyes. You mean the relationship that Robin and Stone had together? The fact that Robin made Stone's life a lot better? The fact that you talk to Stone multiple times as it pertains to his relationship with Robin? Okay. Anyway, you didn't let nothing hinder you. You believe in one thing and you're going to stick to that. And it's just like, how that going to work out for you? Because at the end of the day, it's going to have you look with egg on your face and looking real stupid, my guy. Personally, because Brian Craig, who played Morgan, posted something on his Instagram, and now people are speculating that Morgan might be coming back. My thought is, Fake Jagger doctored up some information saying that Carly was going to get held up on RICO charges. At the end of the day, everybody wants Carly to go to jail, but it's just like, for what exactly, other than the fact that she was trying to run her husband's company, like his business, so people could stay safe, because Cyrus is out here trying to unalive people. If that's what y'all want to send her to jail for, then that's the stupidest logic I've ever heard. If y'all trying to send her to jail for all the things she's done in the past, that's once again the stupidest logic I've ever heard. Because whilst Carly has these half-brain schemes, she's actually grown. She's truly grown. Now, she can get down on the gutter with the girls like she used to, but she's grown and kind of let some of this stuff go. What if, and hear me out, and if this ends up happening, I believe somebody stole my stuff. What if Jagger faked documents and evidence to convince Jason that Carly would go to jail if he didn't help? In reality, they have had Morgan somewhere this whole entire time, and that is really who Jason is trying to get out, but he just don't know it. What about that? I wonder. Or is Spinelli going to end up finding out that the FBI is holding Morgan somewhere, and then they can say, oh, this is why Jason is doing what he's doing? Also, Morgan gets brought up in this episode. Anyway, so Fake Jagger is like, oh, Anna is head of Pikeman. Her and Brennan, I got warrants for her personal email. Her and Brennan have been talking back and forth for 5 years and doing business. I can't let you go just yet. I need you because she trusts you. I need you to go get the evidence on her. And if you tell her about any of this, then Carly goes to prison. And I'm like, you want him to go get the evidence, but you believe that her and Brennan are working together and she's the head of Pikeman. So obviously you're not smart, because you would have known in all of your intelligence that Brennan has already told her that you're going after her, and she's not the head of it, but you too dumb to see it. So he go down there, Jason goes down to Anna's apartment to see her, and he's telling her everything that's going on, and she was like, this is Valentine written all over it. Valentine has used me as a decoy and a pawn in his game to cover his tracks so he could do what he's doing, because he's enjoying it, but he's never going to let me go to prison because he loves me. But Jagger doesn't have the fake ass Jagger does not have the evidence to arrest me, but he also, if you try to tell him that Valentine is, the head of Pikeman, because he's so stupid, he is going to do the opposite of what you need him to do, and he gonna mess everything up. And Jason said, "Listen, you need to figure this out, because one way or another, I'm going after Valentine, and that's on that. I want my freedom. I want my freedom, and hell, we probably want to get Morgan's freedom." Sam pisses me off for today. And I know the people on Twitter are going to be mad at what I had to say, but she pisses me off today because Sam has gone down to the pool, down to the Metro Court, to try to convince Carly to help her keep Jason away from Danny. And she's going on this whole spiel of, oh, Jason's dangerous, and Jason's this, and Jason's that, and he needs to be kept away from Danny, and he disappeared on us, and he left us, and Carly had to break it down like he didn't just disappear on us. And I'm like, when you think back to the history of it, he didn't just disappear on y'all. He went down to the first time when everybody thought he was, gone. He went down to the docks for a meeting. Cesar Fajon shot him due to Helena wanting it to happen, because Helena wanted the perfect soldier. She had already orchestrated to with Peter August and everybody else to kidnap Drew. She needed Jason, took Jason's memories, gave it to Drew, and sent Drew back to town only for him to be hit by a car and need facial reconstruction. So, what are you talking about? That's your family that started this mess once again. And a slew of other people. That wasn't Jason's fault that time. And then when he quote unquote disappeared / died the second time, he went with Britt, who he was really cool with, and he was growling to get back in her good graces and was wanting to date at the time, because at this point y'all were over. You didn't want him no more, and he wasn't going to Liz, and him and Carly wasn't going to be nothing. He went with Britt to save her mother, only to find your second ex-husband, your second baby daddy, and allowed him to come back to you, only for him to get trapped in a tunnel. And when he tried to get out on the other side to come back home, the FBI picked him up. And that wasn't on his thing. He was getting blamed for what happened down there, but really couldn't get blamed for that. So they got him on something else and blackmailed him into helping him. So it's not like, and listen, Jason is not without fault on this channel. Nobody is without fault on this channel. I really want to dive into the history of all these characters at some point in time. But it's not like, oh yeah, I just disappeared because I wanted to, or I just disappeared and went on vacation, or went off and made another family. No. Sam, your family and the people that you were connected to helped make him disappear and had him gone, and had his brother step in and take his life for a good, 5-6 years the first time around. And then as we hop on to this other time, hey, you lost one baby daddy, you got the other one back. And it wasn't like he wasn't trying to go home. He just got picked up by the FBI before he could. So she pissed me off on that. Then she's like, oh, he's dangerous, and he's this, and he's that, and I want to keep him away from Danny because he's going to cause Danny to want to be like him. No, baby, Danny is just like you. Every single time somebody told you to stay away from Jason back in the day, you didn't listen. You just had to go after him. When Jason threatened to unalive you because you watched as Jake got kidnapped and you did nothing about it, and you were causing all types of problems because you knew Jake was Jason's son with Liz, and everything you said to her, you still felt the way about that situation. Danny is not like Jason. He is just like you. Always wanting to get into the danger, always wanting to do something messy. Did you not just put yourself in danger having Spinelli break into the FBI to figure out what they had on Jason? You lied to Dante saying you wanted to help Jason stay around for Danny. Now you want to keep Danny and Jason apart. And then people act like, oh, she's doing this for the good of her son. No, she's doing this to control Danny, because we're not going to act like Danny's complaint before Jason even popped back up on the scene was not the fact that she wouldn't let him do anything. He wanted to play football, not going to happen. He wanted to ride dirt bikes, not going to happen. He wanted to go camping with his friends, not going to happen. He got drunk and high. And that's when you grounded him. And that's when you started going on this whole spiel of you're just like your father. Baby, please tell me, when did Jason ever decide that his problems began to become too much and life was too much, so I'm just going to go get drunk? Do you know who that sound like? AJ. That's who it sound like. It sounds like AJ. At the end of the day, Sam has been controlling and been holding on too tight to Danny and squeezing the life out of him. And if she's not careful, the way they're about to spin this storyline is you're about to do the same thing that the Quartermains did to Jason after his accident. They were so adamant on holding on to Jason, making him feel stupid, trying to control him, and trying to make him into the Jason he was of the past and not this new Jason, that they drove him up out of that house and drove him into the arms of Sonny and the life that he continues to lead after so many years. You are going to do the same thing to Danny. And hopefully when you decide to drive him up out of your house, he does not run into the arms of a Sonny or someone else. He runs into the arms of Quartermains. And at least you know he's safe. That is the choices that you are making. So she wants Carly to convince Jason to leave Danny alone. To stop going around Danny. Don't come around Danny. Don't ask about Danny. Don't do this. Don't do that. When he's already agreed to your boundaries and you're still trying to keep them away from each other, when Danny only sees Jason when he pops up on him. Jason is not adamantly seeking out his son out of respect for what you. But she wants Carly to tell Jason to stay away from Danny. And Carly's like, I can't do that. I don't want to tell my best friend to break his own heart to stay away from his son. And I don't want that for Danny either, because that's going to cause deep psychological harm to this child. You trying to keep them both apart from each other is going to cause some trauma you can't get back from. But Sam does not care. But Sam is not caring about these things because it's all about control for her. She is turning into the Quartermains and Alexis combined together. And we remember how she felt about Alexis trying to control her life, because we remember it was Alexis who convinced, and he didn't really need that much convincing because he already felt bad about her getting shot and losing her ability to have children. But it was Alexis who pushed Jason over the edge on that decision to break up with Sam after she had been shot and lost her ability to have kids back in the day before she had her surgery. So boom, now you acting like Alexis and the Quartermains mixed together, and you're going on this, oh, he's so dangerous, he's dangerous, and he's putting everybody's lives in danger, he's this and he's that. And it's just like, so why are you trying to help him? Why are you trying to help him? And Carly was like, if you feel this way about Jason, why did you want to have a kid with him? Now, I don't agree with her saying Sam begged him to have a child, but Jason was worried about, his lifestyle. He had already lost Jake in a sense of his lifestyle was not fit for a kid. And Liz played on that and was able to get him to relinquish his rights to Jake for Lucky to adopt him, and him and Liz, raised Jake as their own son. So he already had that in the back of his mind, and he wasn't like pushing to have a kid, but he was also like, I don't know. But you wanted him to be the child's father, and yes, y'all decided to have children, and he backed away after he thought that Franco, grape juiced you on your honeymoon, and when your baby was thought to have passed away, only for Taya to did a baby switch and took your kid, he went and got your child and brought it back to you. He was still disconnected to you because he thought that wasn't his kid, but you rejoiced in the fact that Jason was Danny's father when Franco revealed that all the stuff y'all think I did, I didn't really do. Like, I didn't grape juice you and stuff like that. So there's that. And she was like, well, I grew up. And Carly was like, yeah, you grew up. And I'm like, you grew up in the sense of when Drew came to town, didn't have his memories, thought he was with Jason. Drew did what you wanted Jason to always do, and that was to choose you over everybody else. Choose you over Liz, choose you over Carly, choose you over Sonny, choose you over the mob, choose to live the choose you over Michael, choose you over Morgan, live kind of like a quarter main, but not much. You wanted to be the one and only in his life, and you got that with Drew, only for the real Jason to come back, and you just did not want to let him go. What type of grown up is that? You didn't want to let that version of Jason go, so you blew up your own marriage with the help of, the fact that Drew was spending more time with Kim and Oscar with that whole entire situation. So you blew up your marriage, got back with Jason, only for y'all to break up and have to stay apart because you decided, putting yourself in danger and everybody else, Miss Jason is the cause of all the danger and everything going on wrong in my life. We're not going to forget that you were a motherfucking scam artist who came to town to scam Sonny out of his money and got pregnant by him and ended up with Jason as a consolation prize. But okay, the whole Shiloh thing. Shiloh only went after Christina because she was your sister. And then you fell prey to that. And then you caught a felony charge. And then you had to stay away from Jason. And then you eventually decided to choose your kids after so many years. And we were like, hallelujah, you're finally thinking for yourself and not this man. So he moves on. You and Liz get drunk when y'all heard that him and Carly was going to get married. But he had moved on multiple times. But oh, he's so dangerous. And oh, you grew up and but you still wanted him. And Carly was like, you are not trying to protect Danny. You're trying to punish Jason. And Sam is like, I'm not trying to punish Jason. I just don't want my son to end up. And Carly was like Jason. And she was like, no, like Morgan. And I was like, you didn't have to throw Morgan in Carly's face, because at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, if you was going to throw any child that had fell prey or victim to the mob and the dangers of the mob, you could have said, I don't want Danny to end up like Michael. Shot in the head, in a coma, come out, have anger issues, end up unaliving Claudia, and then ends up in jail and everything that Michael went through. You could have said Michael, but you said Morgan. And when it really comes down to it, Sam, I'm going to just be honest. Carly would have a reason to hate you as it pertains to the family that you're connected to. She would really have a reason to hate you. You're a Cassadine and you're a Jerome. Last name is McCall, but you're a Cassadine and you're a Jerome. And it was the Jeromes that ultimately played a part in Morgan's demise, because Ava started messing with Morgan's medication to keep him away from Kiki. And Morgan was thinking he was taking the medication and doing what he was supposed to do, but wasn't getting better. So now he's in a full manic episode. Your aunt trying to get back at your dad placed a bomb on Julian's car. Olivia placed a bomb on Julian's car. Olivia also threw you down an embankment when you was pregnant with Scout. But okay. Placed a bomb on Julian's car. And when Morgan went and stole Julian's car, because once again, he's in a full manic episode, he goes boom. So technically speaking, if we want to get technical and say all these people are dangerous and all this and all that, Sam, your family is the catalyst to a lot of bad things that have happened to a lot of people. Can we blame you for that? Or like, because your aunt is still around. Or remember when your daddy, by way of Cyrus, set that bomb in the floating rib and blew up all them people and put Lulu in the hospital? Unalived Dev, unalived Dustin, was going, possibly could have unalived Danny, had Danny and Jason had not left before the bomb got placed and it went off. Like, come on now. You want to talk about danger? Your family is much dangerous. Your auntie is much dangerous. Sitting up here talking about people are dangerous, talking about, oh, if anything happens to my son, it'll be you and I'm gonna hold you and Jason responsible. There have been many times that bad things could have happened to your son based off of who your family is. But okay, Jason's the problem. Like I said before, none of these characters are without fault, because they all have flaws. Because even though it's a soap opera, it's a TV show, it kind of sort of mirrors real life, but to an extreme form of real life. And at the end of the day, Danny acts just like Sam. And the moment you keep trying to push him and pull him away and control him, he's going to do the opposite of what you want him to do. And I'm still confused on how somebody has to make this make sense to me. How does Danny act like Jason? Jason Morgan became Jason Morgan he was Jason Morgan. But I don't remember Jason Morgan wanting to play football or go camping or any of these things. You know who liked playing football and going camping? Jason Quartermain. But Sam likes to pick out all the negative things about Danny. I'm gonna just be honest. I can see where this is going, and if it doesn't go that way, then the writing, y'all gotta get better with this. Somebody hire me because I could do this so much better. Sam gets on my goddamn nerves. And with that being said, that was it for Them Soaps. This was longer than I expected it to be, but she got on my nerves this episode. This was for Friday to Tuesday, so check it out, enjoy it. That was it for Them Soaps. Check out the description box down below for some great information. Please hit the subscription button and hit the notification bell. And with that being said, I don't have nothing more for y'all today. I love everyone. Bye.